Morning, another day in Cornwall. Got a new air freshener, which you might remember from Point Break. Remember that? Point Break? Where he's like, sex wax, hey, Johnny Utah, they're all surfers.
Surfers use this. They rub it on their boards for traction.
And I've managed to match, because I've ruined all my clothes whilst building the motorhome, I managed to match a Hot Wheels to my t-shirt. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So that is a 64 Chevy Chevelle SS. And that's not the only Hot Wheels that I've got to show you this morning. Before we start this video about Porsches, I've got a Lamborghini Huracan Storato, always a cool little Hot Wheels, and a black Audi Quattro from 1987. Sadly, I don't want to talk about really cool cars that people actually want today, because we are once again diving into the crazy world of saving the planet by making 2.5 ton electrical cars that nobody wants. I want to talk about Porsches. Can we talk about Porsches? This is really funny. So I saw an article this morning that said, where's the title? Porsche has announced changes to its EV strategy, confirming it will no longer expand its in-house battery production business. Now, we do know this. We know that Porsche are winding back their electrical vehicle stuff. But then I thought, hang on a minute. Before we dive into this article and take a look at the decision that Porsche is making, why don't we go on Auto Trader, not Autocar or Auto Express? Let's go on Auto Trader and see what the current situation is with electrical Porsches that are available to buy. So we know that Porsche offer the Taycan Master and the Macan, the electrical Macan. The electric Macan only came out, I think, last year, so that has not been out very long, but this is really interesting. There's 1,492 Porsche Macans for sale on Auto Trader, because they also offer a petrol and a diesel. Now, the diesel Macan has been out since 2015, so 10 years. There's 231 diesel Macans available on Auto Trader, but there's already 305 electric Macans. So why is there more second-hand electric Porsche Macans on Auto Trader when that car only came out last year than there are diesel Macans? Well, you know the answer, and I know the answer. The answer is that the diesel one is actually a sensible little car to have. If you want a Nissan Juke, it's one of the nicest versions of the Nissan Juke. So yeah, there's 305 electric ones. So let's dive into this a little bit further. The EV Porsche Macan weighs 400 kilos more than the petrol or diesel one, so it's 2,345 kilos. It's 2.5 tons. The RRP starts at 70 grand with the turbo that doesn't have a turbo, obviously because it's electric. That's almost £100,000. Now, the cheapest EV Macan on Auto Trader is around about £67,000. So we're not yet seeing heavy discounts and heavy depreciations, although I just messaged Richard from Challenger Road because he knows more about this than me. He's reviewing an electric Porsche Macan today and comparing it, because he nearly bought one. He's comparing it with the car that he did buy, which is a BMW M3 Touring. Very cool car, and I'm looking forward to seeing Richard's comparison when he reviews the EV Macan and compares it to the M3 that he bought. I think his video is going out on Sunday night, so make sure you follow Richard from Challenge the Road. Now, it's impossible to talk about electrical Porsches without having a laugh at Porsche Taycan Depreciation, because I've found an absolute clanger. Just this morning while I was having my coffee, I found this one, okay? So, Porsche Taycans at the minute. There's 922 of them for sale on Auto Trader. The cheapest Taycan, shall I tell you now or shall I wait for it? No, just wait for it because it's so good. There's 172 Porsche Taycans that are below £50,000. The earliest version of the Taycan was £86,000 when that first came out. So now they're only 5 years old. There's 172 Porsche Taycans beneath 50 grand. There's 28 below 40 grand. And the cheapest Porsche Taycan on Auto Trader right now is £34,990. That is an £86,000 car that's 5 years old. But it gets better. I found a 2020 79.2 kilowatt 4S Auto. So that's the one with the list price of £86,000. Stay with me. If we assume, when you assume, you make an ass of you and me. If we assume that the first owner of that car paid 86.5 grand and added no options, right? The car I've found has lost £51,510 in 5 years, or 10 grand a year, or £3.30 for every single mile that it is driven. So everybody likes to say, oh, we don't drive very far. Okay, let's say you do your 10-mile round trip to the shops, 5 miles there, 5 miles back. In your Porsche Taycan, before you've even paid for any electric, your 10-mile round trip is going to cost you £33 just in depreciation. So you better be using these people probably do use their Tesco club card, don't they? Like I said, Tesco should only ever be used for having a poo. But if you're doing a 10-mile round trip just to have a poo at Tesco, that's a £33 poo. Cool, very professional video here from Geoff Buys Cars. So that is my bit about depreciation. I suspect we're gonna start seeing, probably in the next 12 months, we're going to start seeing the electrical Macans absolutely bombing in price. We're seeing it across all of the premium EVs. Richard from Challenge the Road, I reference him again, mentioned in a video the other day about the depreciation on the BMW i5 Touring. 50 grand in a year. So on this Taycan, we're talking 50 grand in 5 years. These premium, expensive £100,000 electric BMW estate cars, some of them you're looking at 50 grand in a year. And then you've got the 7 Series to look at as well. So we've got some fun videos on depreciation coming up when I start diving into the numbers on that. Right, that was a 6.5-minute introduction to my article. The article is titled Porsche Scales Back In-House Battery Plans in Revision of EV Strategy. The decision hints at a renewed focus on internal combustion engine cars, and investment will be redirected into a broader product and software offensive. So basically, decision's been made because of slower than expected take-up of electric cars. Investment will be redirected. This marks a significant shift in Porsche's product strategy. It comes just months after it secured a majority stake in V4 Smart, a joint venture with German battery specialist Varta. It also hints at a renewed focus on combustion engine models, as well as electrified derivatives of existing models, rather than all-out expansion of dedicated EV models. So obviously the Taycan was a dedicated EV model, but what they're saying here is, although they may have had plans to launch new electric-only models, they're not going to do that. They might electrify existing petrol and diesel models, but they're not going to do just electric cars, apart from the ride-on ones for children that they sell in the dealerships. That's what we want to see. We want to see more of those. Expenses linked to the change in plans, including the battery retrenchment, have raised from 800 million euros to 1.3 billion. So it's costing them 1.3 billion to change their direction. We're investing in the future of Porsche, in products, software, and measures in which we want to strengthen the company sustainably, said Jochen Breckner, Porsche's chief financial officer. The change, of course, follows a challenging start to 2025 for Porsche, with deliveries in China, its largest single market, falling by 42% year on year. The other problem they've got in China is people buy Porsche based on all the Porsche heritage and the fantastic design, but now BYD basically make the same thing. They're all electric, and BYD are just copying Porsche's design, so you've got no reason to buy an electric Porsche because you can have a BYD with more power for half the price, and that's what people are doing. So BYD is stealing sales from Porsche. Go back 10 years, right, and say that to anyone in the industry. Say that BYD are going to be stealing sales from Porsche. I once test drove a BYD, probably 10 years ago. It was a Chinese ripoff of a Toyota Aygo. That's what BYD used to be, and now they're genuinely contending with the very best of the Europeans. It's hilarious, but also terrifying if you like cars like I do. The first sign in a shift in Porsche's EV plans came in June 2024, and we talked about this last year, when it confirmed that production of the current internal combustion engine Cayenne will continue after the introduction of the Cayenne EV. Initially, they were going to halt production of the petrol Cayenne when the EV one came out, and now they're realizing that that would be a terrible idea. Shortly afterwards, Porsche confirmed it was considering adding an internal combustion engine SUV to its lineup before the end of the decade, which would effectively serve as a replacement for the internal combustion engine Macan. So they're saying there will be a new petrol SUV. It'll probably be a hybrid, but that's coming. Nevertheless, electrification remains central to Porsche's future strategy. Plug-in hybrid and electric models account for 40% of its global deliveries during the first quarter of 2025, led by the Macan electric and the updated Cayenne E hybrid. Porsche still expects EVs to make it more than 20% of its total sales this year, and further electric models are on the way. An electric successor to the 718 Boxster and Cayman is currently in the final stage of development, with the Cayenne EV set to be launched in 2026. Porsche is also working on a new flagship electric SUV, known internally as the K1 and positioned above the Cayenne. They're only doing that because the people that have got money in this world have got too much money. And the fact that Mercedes-Benz have been able to sell a £250,000 electric G-Wagon has basically made Porsche go, hang on a minute, we can literally sell anything to these mugs. That's exactly what they're doing. The other thing to note is that people who, as this diesel-powered something goes past me very noisily, what is it? It's a van. Go on, you noisy, polluting diesel van. You should be electric. The other thing to note is that, what was I saying? That was it. People who have used the VAT scheme have actually reduced the purchase price of their electric cars by 25%. So if your EV is 100 grand and you're claiming back the VAT, then you're effectively only paying £75,000. These noisy, polluting diesel vans, eh? I mean, look at that. It's a 2010, so it's 15 years old and it's still going strong. You should have an EV that only does 125-mile range and costs you £40,000 and is dead after 3 years. That's how we save the planet, isn't it? So there we go. That's Porsche. Check out Richard from Challenge the Road's video on his Macan. And I mean, we all know it, don't we? I can believe that they're launching a bigger version of the Cayenne for people with absolutely no taste and something to prove. There's probably a joke in there about a small willy, but I'm not going to make that joke. Right, what's coming up in the next few days? We're still enjoying our break in Cornwall. Tony Goodman from Challenge the Road popped by yesterday to claim his tourist tax from us. I've come up with an idea for a video though. What we're going to do is we're going to find, and maybe if you know Cornwall better than I do, is there a really big car boot sale over the bank holiday? Because I think it'd be fun to do like a Saturday video where I give each member of the family £10. That's probably not much these days, is it? That's, you know, with the way things are, 10 quid's probably not enough. But if we had £10 each, I'm going to film it. We'll go to a car boot sale. What is the best thing that we can find for a combined value of £40? Let me know what you think to that. The other thing is, I posted on my YouTube community page this morning. I'm going to be doing a Q&A, so post up your questions and I will answer them on a video. That's it for today. Off to enjoy the sunshine with the family. Hope you enjoy your Thursday, and thank you very much for watching as always.